here to help you with breeze. Planting seeds and teaching skills. Teachers turn schoolyards to dreams. Oh, hey, school gardens with ease.
Hello and welcome to School Gardens with Ease podcast. I'm your host, Leila Mireskandari, and this is episode number 11. In this and a few next episodes, I will give you all the details on how to put together a proposal for your educational food garden. And I'm not talking about those grant application forms, even though this will help you with those too. I want to focus on a proposal or a presentation that you would need to pitch the idea of your annual vegetable garden to your principal, school director, school board committees, your parent council, whoever needs to give you some sort of approval for it. Let's get your pitch bulletproof so that you not only secure the support, but also turn all those supporters into passionate cheerleaders and champions for your project. Let's list all the items that you need to have in your pitch or presentation, and then I'll go over each and every one of them in this and next episode. So here's the list. Number one, tell them that you are growing an annual vegetable garden and tell them why that's the type of garden you're growing. Number two, why are you doing this at all? What are all the benefits to students, teachers, etc.? Number three, a detailed plan that includes who, when, what, where, and the overall design. And number four, how much does it cost? Because that's what everybody wants to know for sure. Number one, what type of garden are you growing? You and I know that it's going to be an annual vegetable garden, but other people might not, or they might even think that other types of gardens are better. For example, pollinator gardens, or fruit orchards, or perennial herb and medicine gardens. I think those other types of gardens are fantastic, but not for the educational tool that you're trying to create. So you need to explain that. Remember, a school garden is an educational tool. So education should be at the center of this project. To teach kids how to grow food and where food comes from, you should be able to start from seed every year with every cohort of students. That's an opportunity that the other types of gardens do not provide. I'm not saying those types of gardens cannot be educational. They absolutely can. But you can't teach kids how to grow food in those gardens because you can't start with seed. Another reason annual vegetable gardens are better for schools is land use planning. A fruit orchard, for example, is permanent. If your school board, for example, decides to use that part of yard for a different purpose down the road, they'll have to cut fruit trees down, bulldoze over pollinator plants or destroy your herb and medicine garden. But an annual vegetable garden that dies every year anyway and has to start new the next season is relatively easy to move with very little destruction. And that matters to decision makers because with a permanent garden, they'll have to take their time, to ensure that piece of land that they're giving you is not in the future development plans of the school. And in some cases, they can never be sure. That could take forever for them to approve or, if they even ever approve it. But they don't have to care much about an annual vegetable garden, and you can explain that to them because as long as you don't, build permanent structures for it and you don't need to, they can move it. Now, you should definitely talk about all these reasons because even if no one asks you, people don't always ask all the questions they have. Sometimes they assume things in the opposite direction of your plans and don't ask any questions. And then later down the road, they say, oh, I thought you were going to do this. You have to explain everything. And sometimes not all the decision makers are actually in the room. Sometimes they send their secretaries or, help assistants, and then they expect a report from those people and make a decision based on that. So you have to give them all the answers. And it's much better if you answer people's questions before they ask, because that means that wows them. They will understand that you've done your research and you know what you're talking about. That makes their decision easier for them. It gives you credibility and authority. and it smooths the approvals for you. The second item on the list that you should address is in your pitch is why. What benefits will this garden bring? Because in everyone's mind, a school garden is expensive, it's lots of work, headaches, and hassles, and totally might not be worth a few tomatoes. Now, mind you, none of that is actually true if you work with me and follow my advice and use my systems and programs. But what matters is most people think that at first. So you need to sell them the benefits so well that they are already convinced that it's worth all that trouble, and then you blow their mind by explaining how it's not that much trouble at all in the first place. And talk about these benefits, even if people seem to already be convinced, it will make them even more excited about the project. And some people know school gardens are good things, but they don't exactly know why. So it will be very helpful for you to explain that. Here are all the benefits that I can think of. First of all, a school garden is the single educational tool that teachers can use to teach all the subjects: math, language, social studies, health, arts, environmental education, community, indigenous learning, food literacy, on and on and on. You name it, it can be connected to a garden and food. No other educational tool can compare. Number two, learning with this educational tool is hands-on, experiential, and authentic. Number three, you can teach teamwork and collaboration, and not just between us humans, but also with nature. Number four, it instills the good old virtues of empathy, caring for other species, and also patience. Number five, it's outdoor education. Number six, it has many physical and mental health benefits. Number seven, it's the ultimate tool for empowerment in two very important ways. First, it empowers next generation with the life skill of growing their own food. But more importantly, growing local food is the only environmental solution to the disasters that is accessible to kids, that they can get involved with right away, here and now. Do you realize how powerful that is? Because more and more kids these days are frightened with the facts about the environment. They're angry at adults to have let it to get this bad. And they feel that they can't do anything about it. They feel helpless. We teach them about these disasters, and we should, because we can't stick their heads in the sand, but then we leave them in a scary, gloomy place with no solutions. Some of the solutions we give them are frankly laughable. Turn off the lights on Earth Day? Really? Tell that to the drowning polar bears. Even if you point them to solar panels and wind turbines, that's still not good enough, because those are faraway solutions and the adults are still arguing about those. Kids want to be involved. They want to be part of the impactful solutions that they can do here and now. And lots of our most kind and caring kids are getting severely depressed, and not all of them are lucky enough to get out of it stronger like Greta Thunberg did. In fact, most of them won't. Food production, packaging, distribution, and consumption are at the core of many environmental disasters, and growing local food is a tangible solution. And that's how a food garden can be empowering. These are the 7 benefits of having an educational food garden at your school. Every one of these benefits should make it not only a good thing to have a garden, but I would go as far as to say that we can't afford not have one. And your pitch has to include these reasons. This episode is getting pretty long, so I'm going to leave it at that for now. In the upcoming episodes, I will walk you through the rest of the items that I, listed for you step by step. And that would be the plan, everything about your plan, as well as the budget. Talk to you next week. You've listened to the entire episode, and for that, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave me a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and please share this episode with other teachers who might be interested in this topic. See you next week for a new episode.